is the Pete Sousa Show. Sports, Pete.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at a stop. I thought I was fine, and then once I got home, I realized it's a lot worse than I thought. I ended up having a ruptured disc. You say you're not hurting, and then an hour later, you're saying you're in all this pain. I just felt like most people would think that I was lying. And that's when I decided to call Daniel Stark. I owe a lot to Daniel Stark. They really got me what I deserved.
The difference is stark.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Tervis is all about staying hydrated with style and durability. You can trust Tervis tumblers to keep your drinks the perfect temperature, hot or cold, for hours. From the classic insulated tumblers to sleek stainless steel water bottles, each product is built to last and comes in endless designs to match your personality. Stay refreshed and express yourself with Tervis. Visit tervis.com today and find your perfect tumbler.
Since our founding, we've been revolutionizing hair removal with cutting-edge technology and a commitment to empowerment. The U-Like Air 3, launched in 2023, ushers in a new era of sapphire ice cooling technology, offering nearly painless hair reduction in just 3 weeks. Experience the future of hair removal today at ulike.com, because at Ulike, beauty is about looking and feeling good. That's ulike.com. Ulike. With Ease US, make studio quality voiceovers for your videos online in over 149 languages and dialects, featuring 468 natural AI voices. Customize the volume, mood, and pauses to perfectly match your content. Plus, capture high quality videos with no watermark. Record your screen, webcam, and voice, and save them instantly to your computer. Never been easier to create professional grade videos and voiceovers. Try it today at easeus.com. That's EASEUS.com. Ease US.
Just use AMP-Pace.
AMP-Pace.
Boom. The Pete Sousa Show. We are live, coming to you one last time from Houston, Texas. We weren't expecting, actually, to go live this morning, but major news yesterday afternoon. So we were on our way over to the stadium. I'm in Houston, by the way, today to call. I called last night, Houston football opener. Sorry, we just threw this together today. We never throw it together for you, but there's been a lot going on. So I'm here for Houston SFA. If you watch this show, you're familiar with that. So I was getting ready to go over to the stadium yesterday. I was lucky enough where I was going to do a radio hit with ESPN Radio, Chad Brown, and my main man, Freddie Coleman, who I've listened to for my whole life. So we're in the parking lot downstairs getting the car from the valet. And I was a little like, I'm again honored to do those radio hits, but I'm like, I'm going to be in the car with the guys driving to the stadium because we were leaving right at the time the radio hit was. So I was like, okay, I'm going to do it. But I was like, man, I wish our timing had worked out better. Well, I get a text from the producer, Shannon, and it's like, hey, because of the Micah Parsons news, like we can't do our college football Big 12 hit today with you. And I was like, no way. I was thinking like in the moment that I left my hotel room and came downstairs, something must have happened with Micah Parsons. Like I have my phone on me pretty much all the time, like most of you do, but I didn't have it like right. Sadie, my dog is with me. She's eating her foot still. Sadie, knock it off. So that's my fault, by the way. There's medicine for that, and I have it at home, so she'll be taking it soon. So we were just blown away. So anyways, I call the game. Game went great. Houston won 27-0. I mean, could have been a better game. A couple things I could have missed as a broadcaster, or I could have done better as a broadcaster. First game of the season, I little inside play-by-play. There's a muscle you can flex as a play-by-play guy where if Houston gets a first down, and it might be the 7th wide receiver, even though that wide receiver, he's underneath a pile of defenders. I mean, nobody can see his jersey number right away. So you have an opportunity there to do like the old Brett Musburger, like first down Cougars, 3rd first down of the drive. And then when the guy emerges, you can say Jackson on the catch and then Williams on the stop. I was trying to get a few instances too quickly to identify the defender or the receiver, and we just weren't there yet with like the cadence of like the order of operations on the field. So I was like, oh yeah, that's right. You got to do your little Brett Musburger thing there. But all in all, man, so awesome. I did not want the game to end because I was having that much fun. So thank you to ESPN, the Big 12, and the Houston Cougars and Stephen F. Austin Lumberjacks for just, I don't know, just being there is cool. I saw the commissioner, Brett Yormark, in the hallway at the game. He said he loves what we're doing on Inside the 12 and with the Big 12. I reminded him that I worked in the NBA and that I was with the Sixers when he was with, I'm with the Sixers as like a PR guy, but he was with the Nets. I was like, Commissioner, you took the Nets from Jersey to Brooklyn. I was like, and you're doing it again with the league. I was like, damn, did I just say that? That was a great line. And he was like, thank you very much. And it was perfect. I got to do the George Costanza because we were both going separate ways. So that was the end of our interaction. I was like, man, that went well. So I could talk about the game forever, but that's not why I got on here. Today I was not supposed to do a show. We were supposed to do a best of. And I just had to pop on to give my thoughts about Micah. And I'm giving you my thoughts because I'm giving you something you probably won't get anywhere else this morning. And it's I think, a smart opinion about the Cowboys and a very simplistic reason as to why they have struggled over the past 30-some years to achieve the kind of success that became familiar with Cowboys fans in the late 90s, or should I say early 90s, and that the one that we're enjoying reliving, right, on the Netflix documentary. Since the departure of Jimmy Johnson, and when Jimmy Johnson was with the Cowboys, there was a way to go about business, right? There was hang on one second, I'll make sure. Something's up with our internet. Okay, so Zach got kicked off of StreamYard, our producer, but that's fine for now because we're rolling, right? We don't need much around here, although we do need Zach at some point. So, the Cowboys were process-oriented with Jimmy Johnson. There was a clear, intentional blueprint there, right? The idea was to kind of distill his coaching philosophy into like a powerful formula, right? It was attitude, effort, performance, right? And the concept was, you saw it in the documentary, let the mind control the body, not the body controlling the mind. So like it was psychological on the field. That was Jimmy Johnson's process. Now, off of it, the systematic team building and the strategy, that was one of the most valuable trades in the history to get Herschel Walker for those 5, which would eventually turn into draft picks. The only pick that they held on to was Isaac Holt, or the only Viking they held on to was Isaac Holt. Everybody else they turned into draft picks. And again, they had speed at just about every position. And that was Jimmy's philosophy, right? A part of the philosophy. But there was a blueprint, right? There was a blueprint for the Patriots under Bill Belichick, you know, the do your job process, okay? Everybody knows what that was, right? And the process was so, Bill Belichick was so focused on it. You know, if you go back into the history books, like, you're willing to be an unpopular person, right? If you're going to be so process driven, because parts of the process are difficult, right? And, you know, the Cowboys experienced a healthy version of that in 1989 when they went 1-15, right? That was part of Jimmy's process, okay? You know, now it is an unhealthy, toxic process. That isn't even a process. Like, it's not a process. Like the San Antonio Spurs, that's another example of an organization that had a process. The Spurs, as far as I can remember, because that's back when I used to work in the NBA, I'm pretty sure they developed the trust the process mentality. I'm almost positive. I think that was there. I wrote a couple other ones down here. Amazon, right? They have a process. You know, a company like Toyota, there's a process there. The reason the Cowboys have been mired in this dismal situation for so very long is because there is no process. I'll give you an example, okay? Now, there's very few things I know in life, right? But I know about sports for the most part, because it's been my whole life. I've been involved on so many different levels, and I've had access on so many different levels. I know about getting messed up, taking drugs, drinking, from, you know, the disease I still have today, but definitely, like, you know, 30 years ago, you know, to the next 15 years, you know, from 15 to like 30, you know, or 16 to 31, whatever. I was in the throes of that, right? Addiction. I never wanted to do what it would take to get sober, which really was, you have to be willing to go to any lengths. You have to be willing to go through the process. And the process is hard. For me, that process was I had to go to rehab for 30 days, right? You're like, oh my God, I can't go to rehab for 30 days. I got so much going on, or I have to get my affairs in order before I go to treatment. It's like, dude, you got something going on with you where you might die. By the way, for me, it's not, I didn't have anything going on outside of that because I was like a low bottom person. So they're like, you got to go to rehab. After rehab, like, you got to go to a recovery house. After a recovery house, like, you got to go to meetings every day. You got to live with another sober guy. It was like 18 months of my life where I was like, you know, embedded in recovery. Now I still am very involved in recovery, but early on, my process was like nothing but sobriety, right? And it turned out to be a successful process. Now, I still battle this thing every day, and when I say battle, I mean, there's certain things I do for my spiritual maintenance and ultimately to keep all that stuff, you know, in the light as to what it really is. Because a lot of the drinking and drug usage, all that stuff, I think is like a mindset thing. I always call it a mind F. Like, you think you need it, but you really don't need it. But once you start to take it or absorb it, you have something in your mind, if you're an alcoholic or an addict, that really responds, right? Like the American Medical Association defines addiction as a disease. So that's enough for me, right? And I got off the debate squad. I told myself, I have this thing. I'm going to throw myself into recovery and do what people tell me. That was a process. It worked. Probably one of the only processes I ever actually was involved in and threw myself into and was willing to deal with because I had nowhere else to go. The broadcast business. I wanted it so bad. Okay, so bad after I got to rehab. I lived in Springfield, Massachusetts, lived in a Red Roof Inn by myself. I didn't know anybody. I was calling D-League games. After that, I lived on a friend's house. I lived on a friend's couch. This is when I'm sober, to go back home and work for the Charlotte Hornets and make $50 a game, doing some radio for them, and an internet show, right? And then after that, I went to Monroe, Louisiana, and then to Waco, and then the opportunities would build, right? ESPN. I just signed a contract yesterday with NBC Sports. How about that? That's good news. To do basketball with them. We'll still do obviously college basketball and college football and college, whatever else for ESPN, because that's my contract. But like, there's a ton of stuff going on. Work with the Big 12 now. That didn't like people. By the way, if you watch last night's game, I think I did a great job, but I'm not a finished product. So it's like there's no finished product, but you don't look at the top and be like, oh, okay, well, that's how you do it. Jerry Jones is like a drug addict that can't get sober. And here's what I mean by that, okay? I'm not saying he's a drug addict or an alcoholic, but a lot of times you don't want to do what you have to do to get where you need to get. So you don't want to do the hard stuff. You don't want to, hit the bottom, develop really enough draft picks, right? Or enough, whatever you need to do, suck bad enough for long enough, or have a philosophy to get rid of these assets to get those. Like, there's nothing that Jerry's doing that is other than a quick fix. He's always looking for a quick fix. And if you're looking for a quick fix, you come up with bubkiss, dude. You get nothing, okay? Really. Quick fixes in life, trying to get shortcuts, will get you where Jerry Jones was yesterday at a podium next to his son, trying to make sense out of trading Micah Parsons for an all-pro and 2 first-round draft picks. The deal in itself isn't that bad, like, truthfully. I mean, if you look at it on paper, like, I get it. I get the fact that I'm not a football savant. I got a buddy who I went to Richmond with, Joe Douglas, right? He was the general manager of the New York Jets. Joe Douglas is a very shrewd NFL front office guy. By the way, Joe was climbing the ranks of personnel departments for 20, 30 years, right? And my point is, Joe's the expert on that. I'm not. But I do know that, like, deals like this, here's what I know. I know that I don't know, right? Like I'm not in the room with Jerry Jones. Will McClay is a guy we don't talk about enough with this stuff. And Stephen Jones and the rest of the decision makers with the Cowboys. Like, I'm sure there is a method as to why they did that trade in the moment. Unfortunately, I don't think it's connected to any wholesale philosophy. So, like, it's just all up there. And if you don't have a process, right, then you're never going to sustain success. It's like with Houston this week, Willie Fritz, right? I mean, he's not Bear Bryant, but he's a freaking awesome football coach. And he's won everywhere he's gone. His last 2 years at Tulane, he was 24-4 and finished with a Sugar Bowl win over USC. Okay? He's in his second year at Houston. They're 1-0. Clearly things are headed in the right direction. Like, he is, I'm telling you, being able to go over to Houston's facility this week to talk to Willie Fritz, the guy has a process for everything. Literally, one of his assistant coaches was telling us, when we get set for pregame meal, we've got a process. Like, certain people line up over there, certain people line up over there, certain people line up over there. And, like, it's simple. People don't really have to think about it. It removes all kinds of guessing and bullshit, right? All the Cowboys are bullshit. And I love it because I respect Jerry Jones. I talk about it all the time. I got into an argument with Christy about it this weekend. Like, I just have an affinity for Jerry Jones. I don't know why. I feel like he's a great guy. I think he's got balls the size of church bells. I think he's a trailblazer. I just think there's so much amazing stuff about the dude that you just have to respect him. But he's got no process, dude. And I think, like, that's the issue. And the media in Dallas has talked about this for a while, but, like, there's no accountability for the general manager of the Dallas Cowboys. And that's how you end up in situations like this. So this conversation, like anybody else, can tell you more about this exact trade and what's going on in the moment right now with the Dallas Cowboys, right? Anybody who's covering the team or has relationships on the inside. I have really good relationships with people who have relationships on the inside. I do not have relationships on the inside of the Cowboys, right? But I've been on the planet long enough to know a horseshit process when I see one. And that is what we're seeing here with the Cowboys. And it's unfortunate because the Cowboys seem to lack the grit, right? Like the organization, as shiny and with all the bells and whistles as we have, they lack the grit, right, to be what it takes to become a champion again. It's like I always say, well, forget that because I could talk forever about this stuff. I'm headed back to Waco in like an hour. I got to get my stuff together because we are doing the Green and Gold pregame show. I should say they're doing the Green and Gold pregame show. I'm just going to show up, hang out, do a couple segments. Scotty, I still don't know when I'm on. So if you're out there, just shoot me a text, okay? Let's see. Hold on. Let's see what my boys are saying. All right, here we go. So I only wish the Chicago Bears would have gotten Parsons, so it could be on the. But who can root for the Packers? I can't. All right, here we go. Yeah, the line is moving. By the way, the Baylor line went down to 1.5. Baylor is a 1.5 point underdog. Let's see this. Well, there you go. Scotty B was at the Baylor women's game. All right, the Baylor King. This is for Scotty B, the Baylor King. Our tailgate is right down the path from the new show. Oh, cool. All right, I'm going to come find you, Brian. And Scotty B, you better come say hello. All right, now we are going to say hello to Todd McShay. I had a chance to chat with my main man, my good buddy, this week. He came on Inside the 12 with us. I want you guys to watch this because it is Todd talking about Big 12 quarterbacks and Sawyer Robertson specifically, right? He gets into the breakdown and his vision for where these guys could end up. And it's promising, dude. One of these guys being Sawyer Robertson. So thanks to Slovakics, thanks to Sikora Family Ford. I thank you to Jerry Jones for this constant stream of content. Thank you to everybody with ESPN and the University of Houston. Great few days. And we had like a first-class crew last night for ESPN. Look, we had this really good producer, Kerry Callahan. This director, Eric Frey. Like, it was awesome, dude. I was very, very lucky. My spotter, Matt Davis, needs a little work, but I was a terrible spotter. So, I get it. I guess that's it. Todd McShay. We're going to take a break. Then we're going to come back from with Todd. I'm punchy this morning. Little sleep. Sick and Bears. Let's go. Todd McShay coming up next after the break, the Pete Sousa Show. Personally, I'll see you tonight at the tailgate or Tuesday morning back here. See ya.
Dive into adventure with scuba.com, your ultimate destination for top-tier scuba and snorkeling gear. With over 20 years of experience, our expert staff, who've dived everywhere from the Galapagos to the Maldives, provides personalized advice to help you find the perfect gear for any underwater journey. Shop leading brands like GoPro, Aqualung, and Scuba Pro. Whether you're a beginner or a pro, trust scuba.com for the best in diving equipment and expert guidance. Explore now at scuba.com. That's SCUBA.com. Scuba.com. At Fullwell, we bring together the expertise of registered dietitians, MDs, and OBGYNs to give you the best fertility support. Our research-backed bioavailable formulas are crafted with your health in mind, ensuring the highest quality and safety. From preconception to pregnancy and beyond, we exceed industry standards with independent testing for harmful contaminants. With our comprehensive practitioner directory, personalized care is always within reach. Fullwell, your trusted partner on your fertility journey. Visit us at fullwellfertility.com. Experience the perfect blend of exquisite craftsmanship and life-changing technology with Gevi. Every product is built with precision, featuring specialized parts that ensure durability, efficiency, and safety. We put every machine through 6,000 rigorous tests to guarantee long-lasting performance. With cutting-edge technology and a commitment to energy efficiency, Gevi makes your life easier, greener, and more convenient. Upgrade your everyday with Gevi. Visit us at gevi.com to discover more. That's gevi.com.
With San, owning iconic furniture no longer requires paying a premium. We use the finest materials like Italian top-grain leather, known for its durability and luxurious feel, and apply meticulous attention to detail in every piece we create. Our replicas are crafted with the same care and precision as the originals, but a price that makes them accessible. With over 15,000 satisfied customers worldwide, we've proven that high-quality furniture doesn't have to come with a high price tag. Explore our collection today at san.com.
At Covers & All, we've revolutionized protective solutions with cutting-edge, customizable covers, tarps, and curtains. Using advanced tech fabrics that are 100% waterproof, UV tear, and abrasion resistant, we ensure lasting durability with hand-sewn double-stitch seams. Our commitment to quality, precision engineering, and customizable options is unmatched. With vertically integrated operations and express shipping, we deliver premier protection at affordable prices. Visit coversandall.com today for the perfect fit, guaranteed to last.
At Open Goal USA, we're revolutionizing training for both soccer and lacrosse with our innovative portable rebounders. Perfect for players of all ages and skill levels, our rebounders improve accuracy, control, and technique in both sports. Built with premium materials for durability and ease of use, they're ideal for training anywhere, anytime. Whether you're perfecting your soccer game or sharpening your lacrosse skills, Open Goal USA has you covered. Visit OpenGoAAALUSA.com and elevate your training today.
Relax with Hemp Delicious. Organically grown hemp, massively blended with delicious organic herbs, responsibly sourced for their holistic benefits. Each sip offers calming, antioxidant-rich wellness. Brewed just for you. Sip the calm with Hemp Delicious. Find your blend at hempdelicious.com.
Introducing Muck-Off's classic pink bike cleaner, powered by revolutionary nanotechnology that breaks down dirt and grime on a microscopic level while protecting your bike's delicate finish. Developed by our mad developer Alex and tested by riders, our products are made by riders for riders. Discover more at us.muc-off.com, where we break the mold to bring you the best in bike care.
Get paid faster with Bill, the easiest way to send, receive, and manage your payments. No more delays, no more hassle. Whether you're a freelancer or a business, Bill makes payments seamless and secure, simple, fast, and reliable. Sign up today at Bill.com.
Welcome back to Inside the 12. He's Taylor McCarg. I'm Pete Sousa. And we are so lucky to be joined by NFL draft analyst, host of The McShay Show on The Ringer and Spotify. There he is in the bunker. He's back in the bunker, back to work time, off the beach for Todd McShay. What's up, partner?
Not much, man. It's always good to catch up with you and Taylor. Good to talk to you again after the Manning Passing Academy. So it's like old home week here.
We're going to start with the passers in the Big 12. A lot of quarterbacks, Todd. Quick question for you to start. Who is a marquee quarterback for NFL scouts and front office guys? And then on the back half of that, who is rising up draft boards that people aren't talking about?
Yeah, it's a wild year, right? Like you go back to last year's class and we came into the season and there weren't like a lot of quarterbacks at the top. Nationally, there are. And in the Big 12, there are too. Sam Leavitt, to me, I don't know if you call him underrated because of what he did in his first year as a starter, transferring from Michigan State to Arizona State and the season they had going to the college football playoff. But I thought going back this summer and watching his tape, he got better and better as the year progressed and went from a guy that they were kind of protecting early on and leaning on Cam Scatterwood throughout the year. And that part never changed. But he started to push things and become the aggressor and attack down the field. And obviously the injury to Jordan Tyson hurt what they can do and what they could do, I should say, in the passing game. But to see him, like the aggressive playmaking, the live arm, the ball just snaps off of his hand, and to see the mobility too, like almost 500 rushing yards. So to me, while he's only about 6'2", 200 pounds, he's an NFL quarterback. And I think if he continues to progress, whether it's in the 2026 draft or one more year in college, and he'll be a part of that Arch Manning, maybe Lenoris Sellers, DJ Lagway draft in 2027, he's going to wind up being, I think, a first-round pick when it's all said and done. So I'm excited to see him. As far as rising, like, there's a lot of quarterbacks to kind of pick from here, right? We got to see Kansas State versus Iowa State. We saw Avery Johnson, I thought, kind of outplay in terms of the passing attack. Rocco Becht in that game. Both guys are on NFL radars for NFL scouts across the league. I think Avery Johnson has a little bit more in terms of the mobility, the creativity, the playmaking at this point. And you saw that deep ball accuracy in the game in terrible conditions out in Ireland. But those are two guys. But the one I want you, and I like Noah Fafita a lot. He's undersized, so I worry about the NFL. But Taylor, you saw him at the Manning Passing Academy. Like, the ball just explodes off his hand, and everything's so decisive and twitchy. But I love Sawyer Robertson at Baylor. I think this is going to be an intriguing year for Dave Aranda's team at Baylor. You look at that program, and they finally have a guy coming into the year that they know exactly what they have at the position. 6'4", 220, more mobile than I thought, to be honest, on tape, and the ability to throw accurately all three levels and on the move. I think he's a guy that not a lot of people are talking about right now, but we could maybe see him in the first 2 nights of the draft come next April.
Todd, a guy that's already starting to garner some headlines this offseason, the draft next season, Spencer Fano from Utah. Mm-hmm. Where do you feel like his ceiling is for next year's draft?
Really high, like OT1 high. I think he could be the top offensive tackle drafted. I really do. I was told by a scout to go watch his tape and to watch the other guy too, on the opposite side, Caleb Lomu, right? And Lomu's the left tackle. Fano is the right tackle, and you typically think the left tackle is more athletic. They're both athletic, but Fano, man, like, it's almost like watching Tyler Warren with like 40 more pounds on his body. I mean, the way he moves, and yes, he's got to get a little bit stronger, and he's got to clean up his footwork a little bit. And Steve Mensch, who Sousa knows really well, we went to college together and played at Richmond. He's my offensive line guy, so he's already picking apart the footwork. But you don't find many guys, 300-plus pounds, that can move the way that this young man does. I'm so excited to see him in his second year as a starter. And who would have thought, like, Utah has potentially like 2 of the top tackles in the entire draft. And I think when it's all said and done, Fano could be a top 15 pick.
You get a couple quarterbacks talking about offensive linemen. I got to calm you guys both down.
It gets awkward.
All right, what about skill guys? You mentioned Jordan Tyson. Who is the most prolific skill guy in this Big 12 class for NFL draft guys right now?
It is Tyson. I mean, we saw what that offense was with him versus without him. 1,100 receiving yards despite the injury and missing some time. He's got some Deebo Samuel to his game. I think Deebo has been utilized throughout his career in a more versatile role, but you can see that like compact, almost running back-like build, the strength after the catch, sturdy, like in traffic. Now, there were a lot of drops on tape, and I think that, like, if there's one area I'm looking for in his game to improve, it's more consistency just catching the football. You know, some of them are focus drops, some of them he's getting like kind of twisted around a little bit, but that's an area you can improve upon. I expect to see that improvement this year. But Tyson's up there. I mean, like Antonio Williams, I should say, from Clemson. There's a lot of good wide receivers. No number one clear-cut number one wide receiver in this class. I think Jordan Tyson is very much in the mix with that group. And then beyond that, like, there's some interesting players. I think more kind of middle of the draft, if you will, but there's some running backs in this conference that I'm really intrigued to see this year, okay? Baylor's Bryson Washington. He's a redshirt sophomore. He, like, his freshman year last year, over 1,000 yards rushing, 12 touchdowns. He's got some juice to him. Jaheim White, undersized at West Virginia. There was talk of him maybe leaving for the draft, maybe leaving in the transfer portal. Well, he's back, and like, how much fun is it going to be to see this guy with the explosiveness, the twitch that he has, the production he's had when he's been healthy? Remember, he had that hamstring injury in the bowl game, but I'm told he's back. He's ready to go, and in that Rich Rod offense, right, coming back to West Virginia, I'm excited to see that. And then another player that I was, it was unfortunate to see for Kansas State, Dylan Edwards, I should say, sorry. He's explosive. He played one play in the game, got injured out in Ireland. We'll see how long it takes for him to come back. But he's another player that's on NFL scouts' radars at this point, too.
Pete knows I could talk offense and quarterbacks and offensive line with you all day, but what about the other side? What are a couple names on the defensive side of the ball that are garnering headlines as we move to the draft next year?
I'll give you two. The first one is a transfer that I'm just excited to see. And like talking to scouts around the country, they're all pointing at David Bailey, Texas Tech, as a guy who could go from, he had 6 sacks at Stanford last year. Nobody really knows about him, but my goodness, is he talented. 6'3", 250, just explodes off the line. He's got a lot of twitch. He's got some length, even though he's not a 6'5" defensive end. But he's a player that, with the bend that you look for, like so important, working through offensive tackles and progressing that pass rush while engaged. He does a lot of really intriguing things on tape. And like the Red Matador Club, right? They just backed up that Brinks truck. What is it, 16 transfer portal, somewhere in that range? Players from the transfer portal. So, but he's the guy of that group. So I think David Bailey's got a chance. Right now, scouts talk, maybe he works his way into the first, maybe a second rounder at this point, but he's got that potential in a really deep edge class in 2026 to be one of the risers and eventually be a first-round pick. And then after that, I'm really intrigued to see at Colorado. This could be a little bit of a down year for them after losing Shedeur and Travis Hunter. But the other cornerback opposite Hunter, DJ McKinley, he's like 6'1". He's got speed to carry receivers vertically, a lot of instincts there as a player, 61 tackles. He's got that toughness you look for. 3 interceptions in the final 4 games. He really came on strong at the end of last year, and that has scouts kind of salivating to see, is this guy legit? Like, is he with Dion there, Coach Prime, kind of working with him? Is he going to be a top 50, top 70 type prospect by the end of the year?
McShay, dude, I wish we had more time. You've done it again. I appreciate it so much. Hey, tell people, our worldwide audience, where they can find the McShay Report and the McShay Show and what you got going on.
I appreciate it. It's the McShay Show with my guy Mensch, as you well know. We just started it last October, so we're excited for our first full season. We're everywhere you find shows and podcasts these days, right? YouTube, we got the YouTube channel, the McShay Show, Apple, Spotify, and everywhere else that you get podcasts. And then the McShay Report's my baby, right? Is my scouting reports, my rankings, the mock drafts, different intel articles that we do throughout the year. And we've been doing a whole extravaganza leading up to college football. So Google the McShay Report. Subscribe today if you can, please. And I'm done being a shill here.
All right, Todd, we appreciate you, dude. We will talk to you soon.
Thanks, Todd.
All right, guys. Take care.
That was Todd McShay, and that's about as good as it gets as far as draft intel is concerned.
No doubt. He's the man. And you're right. We could have talked quarterbacks, O-line, back and forth that entire time, but appreciate Todd coming on.
Oh, really appreciate it. All right, we'll be coming back with the biggest Week 1 matchups in the Big 12. Everybody's in action. We're going to get you set up for it when we come back.
It's the Pete Sousa Show. Sports.
We definitely love our relationship and love Extraco. It's been an amazing experience.
They made the PPP process easier. They were reaching out to me saying, what can I do to help you? That made a huge difference because my stress level, when we shut down, to afterwards was night and day.
Our experience with Extraco has been phenomenal since the very beginning, so we love Extraco.
Nobody tells our stories better than our clients.
The difference is stark. I was rear-ended at 70 miles an hour. I was injured, had a concussion. The insurance company, they delayed. They were playing games from the initial conversation. They weren't going to help me. The biggest thing I learned through this is that you can't go through this alone. I called Daniel Stark. They were going to help me and everything was going to be all right. Daniel Stark got me 10 times the insurance company offered.
The difference is stark.
Sports.
We are Rogue Media Sports.